What's your source of security when you face uncertainty? As you look to the future, what is it or who is it that you take comfort in? Some people take comfort in their financial security. Well, I've planned well and I've saved well, or Social Security will be there and Medicare will be, and so I won't have any worries. I know I'm going to be okay because of that. Your security is that. Now, realizing that is nothing's guaranteed. Some people, their security is in skill, or their personal skill, their business acumen, their ability to hustle, their ability to work. Others take comfort in their personal connections, thinking it's not what you know, it's who you know, and if ever I need something, I can call in favors. Some take comfort in their circumstances. It works like this. Well, it may be bad, but at least my situation is not as bad as other people I know, or it's not as bad as it could be. Their refuge is in circumstances. Some take comfort in family or in friends, and hey, praise God for the people God puts around us. But people that God brings into our life should never be the primary source of our refuge. God is our refuge. The problem with all the other things, if God is not your refuge, the problem with every other thing you could make your refuge is it can be gone in an instant. Your world could be turned upside down in a moment without notice. The psalmist understands this. So the psalmist says, remember this, God is our refuge, not your bank account, not your job, not your family, not your circumstances, as wonderful as those may be, and as much as a gift from God as they are. God is our refuge. And he goes on and says this, he's our refuge and he is our strength. The psalmist knows that ultimately we need two things from God. We need a shelter from the attack. We need a place of refuge. And we need inner strength. And God provides both. He's our refuge and he is our strength. Look at it. The psalmist goes on and says, God is our. I love that. He's yours. He's mine. He's there for you. He wants you to understand that. Sometimes we forget it, and when we forget it, it causes us great stress and anxiety. But when we remember God is our refuge, God is our strength, He's there. He's a refuge, he's a strength, an ever-present help in trouble. The eternal, ever-present God is always present whenever you need him. He's present right now. He's right with you right now. He'll be with you when you leave this place. He'll go with you where you go. He'll be with you when you get up in the morning. He is always there. What happens is some people, though, say, well, but what if things get really bad? And what causes people so much anxiety is they're thinking about a future that may never come. You don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. You don't know. I don't know. We can't be sure how things are going to play out. There's a lot of uncertainty, but there is one thing on which we can be very certain. God is a refuge, and God is a strength, and God is there, and he'll always be there. You say, but what if things get really bad? Well, the psalmist answers that. Therefore, because of that, we'll not fear, though the earth give way and the mountains fall into the heart of the sea, though its waters roar and foam and the mountains quake with their surging, Selah. In other words, if you have a tsunami, if you have an earthquake, you don't have to be afraid. Why? Because God is an ever-present help in trouble. Now let me ask you this. What is the worst thing that you can imagine happening to you? What's the very worst thing? Will you need God more then than you do now? And what's the answer? No. Every one of us, if we really understood the reality spiritually of life, we would know we need God as badly in this moment. We need His ever-present help and strength right now, as much now as we will ever need it in anything we ever encounter. It's just when you get circumstances like this, you're more aware that you really need it. I mean, will it be harder for God to help you then than it is to help you now? No. There's nothing God can't do, and there's no place God can't be. And He is an ever-present help in time of trouble. He's a shelter. He's a refuge. He's your help no matter what. God's there. And what we all need to do is have a moment of Selah. Here's what Selah is. Selah means stop and meditate. So Selah is the idea that you would stop for a moment, you get a hold of yourself, and you would think about a few things. Right now, we're going to have a Selah moment. So I'd like everybody to close their eyes. So you're watching online, close your eyes. The psalmist says, God is my refuge. Your eyes closed. God is your refuge. He is your strength. He's right there beside you. Now just think about that for a moment. God right there by you. And just take a deep breath and think about that. Selah. Isn't that good? You can open your eyes. I'm afraid some of you will go to sleep if I don't have you open your eyes. That's a Selah. When you see that in the Psalms, you stop, you think about what you just read, what it means, what its application is, no matter what happens. No matter what happens tomorrow, no matter what happens next week, no matter what happens in 2 months, 3 months, no matter what happens, God is my refuge. He's going to protect me on the outside, and He's going to renew me on the inside. And He is going to be with me, and He is going to help me no matter what happens.